Another test we should look at is the data integrity. Now, this is often a substantial test that examines the accuracy, the completeness, consistency, and authorization of data stored in the system. Your data integrity test should show failures and input or processing controls. The integrity of the accumulated data can be exercised by checking the data in the files against the authorized source documentation. Now, some of the things we want to look at when we talk about integrity, especially in a database design, are things to look at like a relational integrity test. Make sure they're performed at the data element and at the record base levels. Also on referential integrity, we want that test to define the relationships between the entities in different tables. So I'm going to draw an imaginary set of tables that you would find in your database. And this is going to be a table of customers. And of course, our customers, we hope, are placing orders. Now, some of you might think, well, why not just put the orders in the same table as the customers? Well, we're not ready for that discussion yet about normalization of databases, but we are going to have some discussion about the relationships, the relational integrity, and referential integrity. So in the design of customers, one of the things we know is that there's probably, we hope, a customer ID. That's one of the columns. And then, of course, maybe the name of the customer and whatever other information that we would want them to have. And that's good, right? That's a list of all of our customers. Now, in the order table, there's probably an order number, right? Again, so we can keep track of all the orders. The question is, as we're looking at this, is how do the customers relate to the orders? How do we keep track of that? Well, the relation is that we often will put a value in the orders table that can relate to some value in the customers table. That's our relational. And that way we can actually start verifying it, right? To make sure that we have that relationship, that we see that there is a way of being able to extract information in a meaningful way that also has integrity. Because, you know, I don't want to see everybody's order if I say show me customer one's orders, and so I need to know, you know, how do we query the orders to verify that they belong to the customers, right? How are they linked together? Now, the referential integrity is a different thing. So let's imagine I have customer 1 over here, username Ken, and here's order 1, customer 1, order number 2, all right, customer 1's busy, order 3, that was by a different customer, order number 4, back to Ken again. So Ken's one of your better customers here, apparently. And, right, what do I order? Well, you've probably already heard me before, widgets. Okay, so now, what happens if we delete this customer? Well, what's going to happen is now when we start doing queries against the orders, we're going to start seeing these customers, and we're going to try to relate it back to the customer table, and there won't be any entries, right, if I delete it. And so now we have lost what we call the referential integrity. Referential integrity is making sure that the matching keys are dealt with in pairs or are all matched. I guess in this case it's pairs, but it could be more than pairs. It could be many tables that relate back to the customers. We want to make sure, though, that we don't have, I call it the missing sock syndrome. You know, you go to the washing machine and you have fewer socks coming out than when you put them in, and they're usually in odd numbers. And that's kind of what happens, right? Somebody deleted the sock, and now I've got all these unmatched pairs over here, and that destroys the referential part of the integrity. So the relational integrity is seeing the relations of the data. The referential is to make sure that we can't destroy one part of the relation without destroying the other part of the relation, or maybe a better choice would be to not delete the items in these that they reference to with each other. But again, now that's I could start getting further into database theory, but I don't want to at this point. I just wanted to make sure that we made sense out of the referential and relational integrity.